Ciao.
Must-have gadget, the MacBook Wheel, a revolutionary new laptop that does away with the keyboard. Tech Trends reporter Jeff Tate.
This is the thing. See, this is why I was thinking I might need to get rid of the wheel of stuff. Peter Cohen is here with us, everybody. Peter Cohen, tech dude. He's the ghost in the machine about which your parents or the police warned you. The police, the band, not the police, the police. They were too busy warning you about drugs and, other things. I thought about getting rid of Wheel of Stuff, and then people wrote in and they said, we would like to keep Wheel of Stuff. The problem is I'm now cycling back to, I believe this is your third time spinning the Wheel of Stuff. I'm not sure.
I'm beginning to feel like Christopher Walken in The Deer Hunter.
Oh, wow. Oh, dark. I watched The Heat last night, by the way. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Melissa McCarthy and, not Heat, The Heat. Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Well, I loved it because I like them, and it was just this side of Melissa McCarthy was not gross. She was very funny. She was very obscene, but it didn't go into the gross humor thing. What's weird is apparently it was actually filmed in Boston. It was supposed to be in Boston. All of her family had Boston accents. She did not. Points to her, though, for not trying to do a Boston accent. It didn't feel like Boston to me, and yet it made me homesick. Because I lived there for like 9 years, and in a weird way, I still consider that city sort of home. And it didn't feel like that. And yet it made me homesick for it. I don't know why I even brought that up. I'm sorry, man. Except I know you're Boston adjacent.
I miss Boston. But I don't see Boston anymore, man. The funny thing is the lockdown, we've been to Boston, I think, twice in the past year.
Yeah. Well,
I'm looking forward to things getting better. It's funny though that stuff like that. You see, the place that you're from or a place that you lived a long time on TV or movies nowadays.
Yeah.
And especially, stuff that was recorded a few years ago. I feel like it's so anachronistic now. It's sort of like that was the before time, and now it's the after time, or the during time or something, and we're not really sure what it's going to look like out the other side. But I did something as sort of an act of hope.
Okay.
A couple of days ago that I thought was very positive, and that was that I bought concert tickets for me and my wife to go see a band called Jungle, because they announced a concert in Boston this October. Wow. And I felt like, okay, by October we'll have this under control, and we'll be able to have a normal concert experience. And my wife and I miss live music so much.
Yeah.
So much. It's like the one thing that we would do as often as we could. Was go see bands play.
I am looking forward to taking a train to L.A. Because I live about 30 miles, I think, from L.A. And it used to be a thing I would do every now and then, hop a train, go see a friend of mine, whatever. I'm looking forward to doing that. In fact, I think the first plan I'm going to make is I'm going to take a train to L.A. and get my friend to come down to the train station. We'll have lunch at a place there, and I'll just hop the train and come back. But I'm looking forward to that a lot. Anyway, enough about that, because we got a game to play. We're still playing the game is Wheel of Stuff. I, of course, went into the App Store, found an app, Daily Decision Maker, I believe it's called, or Daily Decision Wheel. I apologize, I can't remember the name, but it has a wheel. I put stuff on it. We spin the wheel, and then a conversation ensues. Mr. Cohen, are you ready for your first spin of the wheel today?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, give it a hard spin there. Stopping quickly. Interesting. This has not come up before. It's been on the wheel for a while, but it's never come up. Tell me your toy story. I'll give you an example really quickly. I had a Stretch Armstrong when I was a kid. And one day I found the Stretch Armstrong had a hole in it. Kind of sad. It was oozing the red stuff. We had to throw it away. Years later, my cousin confessed that he actually poked a hole in the toy because he was curious what was inside it. So it can be a toy that you had that you lost. It can be a toy that you had that you found. It could be one that somebody gave you as a gift and you thought, man, I never had anything like this. Tell me a toy story.
When I was, I think 6 or 7, I got a $6 Million Man action figure.
Nice. Where you could look through his head and see the bionic eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at school we had show and tell. and I got to bring my Steve Austin action figure to class and show everybody how it was. Now, the girls did not give a damn. Did not give a tinker's damn. They were bored at this smelly little boy with his stupid toy. But I had the attention of every boy in the room. And I showed off the bionic eye that you could magnify through. I showed off the karate arm that you could chop, steel and 2x4s through. I showed off the circuit board that was built into his arm that you could pop out.
Yeah.
And all the boys wanted to know was, is the $6 Million Man wearing underwear?
Yeah, there you go. That's great. I don't remember the answer to that.
I got cornered at recess in a corner of the yard and was forced to hike down Steve Austin's pants so everybody could see that he was, in fact, wearing very red, very shiny, very plastic underwear.
Wow. See, I don't remember that at all because I had one of those. Although, honestly, I had forgotten that I had one until you mentioned it. It's weird the things that stick with you, right? Because Harry McCracken posted the other day that they have re-released the Evel Knievel thing where you wind it up and he goes, like rolling down the hallway or whatever.
Yes.
I had one of those too. Totally forgot about that until he pointed it out. He said he was thinking about getting one, even though he doesn't want one anymore, but he wanted one so bad when he was a kid that he feels like he should just go ahead and get one for that kid and him that, wanted it. But you can really just throw anything at a wall, and it's pretty much like having the Evel Knievel stunt cycle. Ready to spin again?
Yes.
There is an addendum, by the way, to the story about my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I had dinner with him a couple years ago. And I was at a store and they had a little tiny Stretch Armstrong. And so I bought it for him because it was around Christmas time and I wrapped it up with a card that said, "Here." Hey, this one did come up last week, but it's going to be different for everybody. Tell me about one magic place. A place for you that's magical for whatever reason.
A magical place for me. So there's this little place up in Salem, Massachusetts called Salem Willows.
I love it. I know that place.
You do?
Yeah, Bear Neck is right out there. If you go onto the... Oh my... Please continue.
Okay, so Salem Willows has a little arcade area, with like old school arcade games and, point out games. And you can get, fried crap down there and ice cream and so on. But it's just this nice little, this nice little sort of wooded beachfront area in Salem, Mass, right on the water.
Yeah.
And Salem is a cool, funky little town. Everybody knows it as sort of Witch City. It draws a really eclectic artistic community, really cool people, very diverse and very welcoming, and just generally an awesome place to spend time when it's not Halloween.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely the worst place to spend time on the planet Earth. But the other 11 months there. Salem Willows is where I took my wife on one of our first dates.
Oh.
Salem Willows is also where we renewed our vows a few years ago, and we had our witch friend officiate the ceremony. So Salem Willows is my magical place.
Salem Willows is so that was, I don't remember how I found it or how I ended up there the first time. It was probably the people that I hung out with when from Somerville when I lived in Boston. I lived in Malden.
More than likely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A local would take you there, absolutely.
Yeah. And it just became one of my favorite places. So Bear Neck, and this always blew my mind. The sign says that it's called Bear Neck because in 1699, a bear wandered out on a sandbar at low tide. And then the tide came in, and the bear was still out there. And eventually the bear drowned because the tide came in and the bear couldn't get back in. And what was amazing to me was not the fact that, there were bear there, although that's pretty amazing, or that the bear drowned, but that over 300 years later, we're like, oh yeah, that's where that bear died 300 plus years ago.
bearskin up in Rockport. The funny thing is, I love these stories because they transmute and change over time too. For example, and I'm trying to think of an analog closer to where I live, because that's the North Shore, and I live way down on the South Shore. What's a good analog for it?
And Plymouth Rock.
No. Oh, God. And apropos of nothing, this is orthogonal, but you'll get it because I keep going back to the same theme over and over and over again. We were actually up in Plymouth a week ago, just to get out of the house, to okay, we've been cooped up. We just got to stretch our legs and let's just go up to Plymouth. Maybe we can get some ice cream, turn around, come back. It's a fairly short drive from where we live. We got there and there were people wandering through the area in a fairly compact part of the downtown area, not wearing any masks at all outside. It was really interesting because compared to where we are, which is only about 30 minutes away, everybody wears masks if they're in close proximity to one another. There's no variation there, but it's different area, different kind of rules apply, and I think that people were just sort of doing their own thing. But again, it demonstrates just the crazy unevenness of all of this that we're kind of dealing with, this sort of reality, unreality of these pandemic COVID times. And I really do hope we get back to it sooner or later, some semblance of normal.
Ready to spin one last time?
I am ready to spin one last time.
I keep saying I'll figure out the physics of this one day. Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
I'm sorry, are we playing F, Marry, Kill?
That's an interesting... See, thank you very much, because... the question is, it comes up on the wheel, animal, vegetable, or mineral.
Am I feeling one more than the other? I mean, it really depends on the day. Sometimes I'm an animal, sometimes I'm vegetable, sometimes I'm mineral.
I will accept that answer. Thank you very much. And, thank you for the week, certainly. And also, thank you very much again, sir, for spinning the Wheel of Stuff.